Hello, I'm Marie Carter, editor of Pets magazine, and I'm speaking today to celebrity vet Marc Abraham. Hello, Marc. Thanks again for speaking to Pets magazine about your love of animals and your amazing animal welfare work. Marc, starting from the beginning, did you grow up with animals, and if so, what pets did you have?
Well, Marie, thanks again for inviting me on your show. What pets did I have? I grew up with animals. I had cats, I had tortoises, I had zebra finches at one point. My friends were caterpillars, moths and butterflies. They're not officially pets, but they were my animal companions. I was completely geeky and obsessed with sort of wildlife and nature. So yeah, and the reason I became a vet was because I took a twig and removed a maggot from my pet tortoise's leg at about 3 years old, so my mum tells me.
Brilliant.
And it got better, and from then on I just wanted to help animals. So yeah, I was always surrounded by various four-legged friends and two-legged friends, birds, from a very young age, and all I wanted to do was help them.
So you really, in effect, started your unofficial training to be a vet at a very young age.
Yeah, so my mum tells me that all I did was, was just hang out with animals, and that's why, my whole childhood was kind of sad, really, in a geeky way, because all I did was try and find caterpillars and moths and butterflies and birds and eggshells and feathers and stuff, and then I used to just draw everything. Because I draw a lot. So it was a way of sort of, I don't know, maybe hoarding information or learning more about nature and animals. So yeah, and then all I wanted to do was be a vet.
And do you still have your own private practice?
No, I can't practice anymore
Right.
because basically I'm in Westminster 2-3 days a week. The nature of lobbying and campaigning is so unpredictable. So to have a proper job, if you like to call it that, is kind of impossible now, and I've kind of switched. So I'm kind of devoting my whole career now to campaigning and lobbying, because you just have to be at everything. Events, presentations, group meetings, subgroup meetings, individual meetings, meetings about other meetings. It's just such a vast sort of landscape, which you kind of... I mean, I've never obviously been a lobbyist or studied politics. I'm just a geeky animal lover. But if you feel passionately about something, you kind of make it happen. And I used to play a lot of chess when I was younger, and that, funny enough, that seems to have helped the most. It's that way of dealing with stuff that if something doesn't work, you sort of work your way around it and make it happen another way. So I'm making it up as I go along, to be honest with you. And after a couple of years, we're getting there. Yeah. So sadly, I can't vet. I will like to in the future. It's not like I've given up, but certainly at the time now, sort of striking while the iron's hot, I have to be all over everything that's going on in Westminster to make the biggest impact for animal welfare.
Okay. And when did you first actively become involved in animal welfare?
Well, I think, different levels, really. When I was really young, helping a tortoise, that's one level. Yeah. Being, obsessed with nature, that's another level, and wanting to help. But in terms of lobbying, I think when I first started to see sort of puppies with parvo coming in my practice and started to work out the puppy farming chain, that's when I started to sort of be conscious about making a difference. And I couldn't relax, and a lot of people are out there, we can't do anything, and there's nothing, we can possibly do to change the situation. Everyone can change the situation. I was just a normal practicing vet, and from that, it fired me up, made me angry to see these puppies dying of parvo, that I found out where they were from, and then started lobbying, and that took me to Westminster, and obviously the dog show, PupAid dog show, which hopefully we'll talk about in a bit. Everyone is capable of even sharing posts on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram is a way of raising awareness and doing something. So when people say, we can't do anything, it's a lie. And I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest with you, because if we all did something, we'd solve the problems a lot quicker.
Yeah, by raising awareness.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to set up PupAid, did you feel that, as you just said, that there was a gap for an awareness-raising campaign that would target puppy farming as a scourge?
Well, it wasn't like I saw that there was a gap. It kind of just happened because I was trying to work out how to raise enough awareness, or, legislation's one thing, and it's something that is incredibly hard to achieve any positive change in. But what you can do is, as we just mentioned, raise awareness and help educate the public. So I kind of wondered how I could raise awareness and educate the public. Now, the public that are actually buying these puppy farm pups, whether they're pedigree, purebred, or designer dogs, or French bulldogs coming in from Eastern Europe, whatever. The triggers and the drivers are often celebrity. Lady Gaga, Jonathan Ross, a lot of people, Robbie Savage, tweeting and Instagramming pictures of their pets, usually French bulldogs. And I pick on that breed because it's an incredibly puppy farm breed now, French bulldog, with a hell of a lot of health problems. On the flip side, if you're looking at designer crossbreeds, you've got obviously the cockapoo is one of the most searched types of dog online. So it's affecting all types of dogs, first of all. The celebrity influence is massive, which is why I invented PupAid with celebrity dog judges, because if you start hitting the tabloid demographic, you're more likely to affect the people that are buying these pups in the first place. So that was my initial thought. And obviously now we have a huge celebrity following who are all sort of tweeting about rescue dogs and buying dogs responsibly and attending the dog show and judging the classes. So it's happening. It wasn't happening enough because the PupAid event was only one day a year with associated press spinning off it.
Can you tell us more about the PupAid event? Yeah,
I mean, my point was that one day a year wasn't enough to raise awareness, which is why I went to Parliament as well. So it's a two-pronged attack now. There's the Fun Dog Show, which happens every year, and it's in September this year in the Royal Parks. It's in Primrose Hill in London, near Camden and sort of Regent's Park. It's a massive fun dog show, which has got probably about 11 fun classes. So you've got Best Rescue and Handsomest Dog and Prettiest Bitch and Waggiest Tail and all that stuff. But it's all judged by celebrities.
And can anyone enter?
Anyone can enter.
Do you have to pre-register?
We have a maximum number of dogs in each class now of 50. I mean, it's become really popular, which is fantastic. So 50 dogs in every class. It's compared by the lovely Annabelle Giles. We have fantastic celebrity support in the last few years. Ricky Gervais. We've had Elle Macpherson, Brian May, Liam Gallagher, Sarah Harding, who else? Rachel Riley, Ali Bastian. It's just been incredible.
And will proceeds go to PupAid?
Yeah. Well, what we do, PupAid is set up, it's not actually a charity, it's a community interest company. Right. So it means that all profits have to be given away. So it's all completely voluntary. And we normally nominate 4 charities every year to receive funds, which are rescue dog charities, such as the Mayhew, British Dalmatian Welfare, Oldies Club, for example. So we just, at the end of the year, we write a check and present it to them. So we use funds for our lobbying, and we use funds to give to charity. But yeah, it's a completely voluntary organisation. And we're very proud of it, actually. We got 55,000 followers on Twitter. The celebrity support is incredible. And, in just a few years, we're one of the leading animal welfare organisations in the UK. And it's a real example of people power, especially with the debate, for example.
Marc, do you think puppy farming will ever be stopped?
No, I don't think it can be, because there's no ambition from the people that can stop it. To stop it. So I think we need to reduce it as much as possible, and we can. Remember, a lot of puppy farms are legal, a lot are illegal, a lot are licensed by local authorities. Of course, if you can buy the puppies that are being sold, being produced in puppy farms, then there's always going to be a market for them. If you can always sell a puppy without its mum, there'll be a market. If you can always advertise online, there'll be a market. So really, the campaign, and it's not just PupAid, it's people like Cariad, Nature Watch, some fantastic fellow sort of smaller campaign groups out there making big differences. It's really trying to stop these puppies being sold, trying to hit the chain. And it doesn't really help when organisations such as the Pet Industry Federation, which is within our industry, if you like, our profession, is saying that it's fine for puppies to be sold in pet shops, because we all know it isn't Animal Welfare Act-wise, possibly deliver the 5 freedoms. And of course, that's just the final part of the chain where the puppies have been coming from hundreds of miles away from puppy farms. So they have a direct influence on the government legislation. So we're kind of up against it, really, because the trade, the industry doesn't want it to stop. And obviously the local councils in Wales and Ireland and probably in Eastern Europe don't want it to stop because of all the cash coming in. So it really is a case of changing attitudes, empowering the public to make that decision when they choose a dog, which is preferably to go to a rescue centre. Or if you're dead set on getting a puppy, then always see it interacting with its mum. And if you stuck to those 2 options, you probably wouldn't end up with a puppy farm pup. And more importantly, you'd help to starve the industry.
Thank you. And obviously this inspires and motivates you on a daily basis, your campaigning work, and I can sense your passion for animal welfare and making a real change, in which you've already helped to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken over my life. And, as I said, it's a team effort. It's not just me. There's some fantastic people doing some really great work. And it really is about working together. And, a couple of years ago, the big charities were very conscious of, organisations are very conscious about not working together, because everyone has their agenda and everyone wants their donations and legacies to go to them. And one thing I've noticed, especially with the debate when it went to the House of Commons, is how it kind of bound everyone together and became this sort of a much bigger force, which is it's a lot easier to deal with, and it's a lot more intimidating from people fighting against it. And we have meetings in Parliament, the All-Party Group for Animal Welfare, the Canine Feline Sector Group, the subgroup. All these meetings are going on to find a way of really influencing the government to, at the end of the day, are making that final decision to change legislation. So there's a lot of work going on in the background. For me, it's never fast enough because I'm incredibly impatient and I can see the situation getting worse. But as long as we have laws that allow third-party puppy sellers and dealers, as well as terrible guidelines for online advertising. I mean, they're all voluntary. You can advertise any animal online. It's always going to happen. So we have to keep fighting and keep showing that the situation is getting worse.
Thank you. Marc, when life settles down a bit, would you like pets of your own? Yeah,
of course. My dream is to have a rescued borzoi, which, for those who don't know, is a Russian wolfhound. Every year at Crufts, whenever the hound day is, I'm always found in the benches just hanging out with the borzois. I don't know why. There's something about them. Or Discover Dogs, of course, hanging out with the borzois. But there's something about the breed I love. I think it's because they're tall.
We all have our favourite breeds.
Tall and weird looking, a bit like me. Maybe I've seen myself. So I will definitely get a rescue borzoi at some point. But you mentioned when life settles down a bit.
You can't envisage
and I'd love to ask
that yet.
you a question, if you could tell me when that will be, please. I'm really interested.
You're a master of your own destiny, but it sounds like you've got a plan, and you're passionate about the work you do. So I can't see it ending anytime soon.
Well, the thing is, Marie, with campaigning is you campaign at this level, and I'm really proud to be campaigning. This week I've already had meetings with. Last week I was with the RSPCA. This week I was in Parliament, speaking to some fantastic MPs like Simon Kirby, Rob Flello, Angela Smith. I had a quick chat with George Eustace, who's now the Minister in charge of Companion Animal Welfare, who's replaced Lord de Morley. And really just to keep this conversation going, next week is the RSPCA reception. There's other big meetings in Parliament coming up and separate splinter meetings. So it's really gaining momentum now. And I think a few years ago, puppy farming was rarely talked about. And now it seems to be right at the top of the animal welfare agenda because of everyone who's talking about it and tweeting about it, Facebooking about it, and making it impossible to ignore. And that's the secret with campaigning. If you make enough noise about something, not only is it impossible to ignore, but suddenly there becomes a change where certain MPs or organisations actually want to be seen to be fighting that because it's in the public, it's fashionable, it's cool, it's sexy. So it's changing that shift and getting the real big decision makers on board, and that's when you see sort of, because people go, hang on a minute, I should actually, whether they believe in it or not, I should actually be fighting with these guys because I'll get a lot of publicity, or, you know, there's a great movement I can latch onto that energy. I don't care why people want to join my campaign, as long as they join it. If they benefit from it, for example, the sponsors of PupAid or the stall holders or the people that come, everyone can benefit in some way from the campaign. And it's a good thing as a brand to show your followers or supporters or customers that you care. So, yeah, I'd recommend everyone listening, if you are on Twitter or Facebook, to follow PupAid, PupAid, and start sharing messages. And actually, you know, you can also be a part of change, and, you know, be proud of it.
So everyone can make a difference, in no matter how small a way, whether it's
so.
following you, whether it's retweeting, spreading the message, and it's all going to make a difference.
Definitely, I think
whether it encourages one person from, you know, buying.
Yeah, absolutely,
and reliable source.
You know, gone are the days where the only way you can contribute to anything is to donate to charity. You know, now with social media, as I say, you can share posts, you can retweet, you can comment, you can like. You can send links, and sometimes this is actually more beneficial than actually donating. It can make a bigger difference. And as you say, if it stops one person from buying a pup, or at least educates them to go to the, for example, the kennel club,
to a rescue centre,
kennel club, or a breeder scheme for a pup, or a rescue centre, then you've done something to stop animal cruelty and to improve animal welfare. So there's something for everyone to do, whether you're the busiest person in the world or you're sitting around doing nothing. There's no excuse, and it won't cost you anything either. So, as I say, there's no excuse why you can't help in some way.
Well, Marc, thank you so much for sharing everything with us. It's an amazing job you're doing, and you're a real Pets Magazine hero.
Oh, thank you. And as I say, thanks for inviting me. And also, you know, if you're planning your summer calendar ahead, the 5th of September is PupAid. It's in London. It's free. It's a dog show. So many people say, can we bring my dog? Of course you can bring a dog. So it's a big dog show. There's Have a Go Agility. There's trade stands. There's going to be a vegan mini sort of food festival. There's going to be live music. So it's almost like a one-day fun festival for animal lovers. And then, of course, with lots of celebrities. And the most poignant part of the day is going to be the parade of rescued breeding bitches. So we always have that as a centerpiece. So, you know, as much fun as you're having, this is why we're here. And
there's a serious message at the heart.
For sure. So it's always about getting the balance. There'll be a lot of literature given out. A lot of charities will be attending. And as I say, it's just a case of coming along and enjoying it, and then, you know, being a part of something important for animal welfare, and then taking that message and sharing it further. So, fourth year in London this year now, and it's certainly getting bigger and better.